Restorative justice really is an ancient tradition that we're re-exploring and adapting into our current contemporary situation. And it stretches into indigenous cultures in many places and a lot of common wisdom that's really focused on relationship and how we are all interconnected, how we need each other in various ways, and how when harm and conflict happens, the need is to repair relationships, to build a community, to center those relationships. When we speak of accountability in restorative justice, we do not equate accountability with punishment, with inflicting pain. Danielle Serret, who wrote a book called Until We Reckon, broke down accountability into 5 steps that I think are very, very useful to think of this way. The first step of accountability is to acknowledge responsibility for what you've done. So I did that. Not it happened, but I did this. Then the second step is to acknowledge the impact of your actions. And the only way you can really acknowledge the impact for your actions is to understand from the people who've been affected by your actions what that impact is. So it requires listening with empathy and understanding that. Then the third step, which follows very nicely from the first 2, is to express genuine remorse. Then the fourth step is, in addition to expressing remorse, you do sorry, as Danielle puts it, by making amends, repairing the harm to the extent possible, guided by what is meaningful and needed by the person or persons who were affected by your actions, the persons you harmed. And then the fifth step, possibly the hardest, is to take actions to become the person who does not repeat that harm. So those 5 steps really represent true accountability. So in restorative justice, we use a little different language than the traditional criminal legal system language of victim and offender or criminal, that sort of thing, because really we understand that people are much more than the worst thing that happened to them or the worst thing they ever did. So we speak of the person who was harmed, seeing them as a person first, and the person who was responsible for harm, again, seeing them as a person as well as primarily that. And then we address the behaviors or the experiences, the traumas and so forth. And it opens up a whole different way of relating to each other when we don't box each other in to these very specific labels as if that is all a person is. What I think of as really the restorative approach or way of being is focused on the idea that we can't throw away each other. And particularly when someone does something harmful, we don't throw that person away. We figure out how to, with dignity, invite that person into accountability. In our divisive times right now, one of the things we have to understand is, again, we all need each other, and we are all human, and we are all connected. And restorative justice calls us to that again and again, so that as we have conflicts and divisions, we have to work to build community. And it gives us tools that we can use to do that and grapple with some of those very real divisions. So restorative justice really does represent a radical hospitality in that it says everyone belongs. And our foundational practice, circle process, invites everyone in a circle without hierarchy to participate in building community, in making decisions, whatever that circle happens to be about. It's inclusive and invites everyone to participate. So when done properly with fidelity, we find that restorative justice really is an expression of radical hospitality.